No, Yale. Why did you drop out of Yale? We're going to be talking about the similarities between Belly and Conrad, and Jess and Rory Gilmore, because there are similarities and there are also differences. But that's after we talk about the summer I turned pretty. There's so many things that's happened in the past few weeks since I've talked to you guys. And it's time to chit chat, you know? I think a lot of things have changed and a lot of things have not changed. Where am I in terms of Team Conrad, Team Jeremiah? At this point, before episode 7, I was Team Conrad. But now, I think for a lot of the reasons that a lot of people have mentioned, but honestly, it's just after episode 7, I just don't know where I'm at, honestly. I'm also going to be sharing what I've been doing lately, and that's usually at the end of the pod, at the end of the episodes. So let's get into it. You know, last time we chatted, we had episode 4, 5, 6, and 7. At 5, 6, and 7, we have like Jeremiah pretty much trying to suck up to his dad, make his dad proud. He's doing well at his dad's job. And then you have Conrad, who's been trying to make Belly happy throughout the entire summer of throughout the entire summer. Like, Conrad has been trying to make Belly happy, because he's in love with her. And let's talk about the love between Conrad and Jeremiah. I do think Jeremiah loves Belly, but not the love that anyone needs to get married. I think it's the love is there, but the love that Conrad is showcasing is called that agape love. It's a theory where someone is sacrifices themselves. You know, they put other people's feelings and wants and needs above their own. And they're selfless, right? So we have Conrad all throughout this season really be selfless and put Belly's needs and wants before his own. And that's what it means to be in love. Okay. You have to know, no, you can't just be thinking about yourself. You have to be thinking about other people. And the other people are the other person who's also a part of this relationship. And that is, of course, you know, Belly. And that is, of course, Conrad. Um, in this case, it's Conrad. Okay. So Conrad has done a really good job in really showing Belly what it means to really love somebody. What does it mean to really love somebody? Putting your entire day aside to help someone feel happy. Like, let's go through all the things that Conrad has done. So Conrad has, canceled his flight because he's supposed to go back to California. I thought he was going to the UK because he's in medical school right now. The summer in medical school where he's trying to do, medical clinic internships. And the red-haired girl that's currently in love with him has found him another opportunity. So instead of going all the way to California and partaking in this other internship, another clinic position, he's canceled his flight. He's decided to be on board for the wedding. He told Jeremiah that he is okay being co-best man with Steven. He's made muffins for Belly. He's put his entire day aside to find, stuff for the wedding for Belly. He followed her around to get flowers. He helped her with the wedding cake and provided, honestly, reasonable suggestions. And honestly, Jeremiah wasn't reasonable. But then again, it is your wedding, and whatever you want to do for your wedding, that's what you should do. If Jeremiah wants a specific cake, I'm with Jeremiah in that case. Like, if that's the cake y'all want, that's the cake y'all want. But it's both of you guys' wedding, not just yours, Jeremiah. Side note, I do have a cold, so if you feel like if you hear me, if my voice is a bit nasally, that is what's going on. I was gonna put aside this episode and not record, but honestly, that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks, so I can't. I've been so busy, so this is the only time I have someone to be doing this now. So, please do forgive me if I sneeze and cough and all of that. And if you like the nasally voice, then you're welcome. If you don't, I deeply apologize. You'll go back to normal next week or tomorrow or a few days when I record the Love Island recap. Love Island season 7 reunion is dropping, and I will be recording the recap on that. So back on Conrad. Conrad then spoke to Laurel and convinced Laurel to be part of her daughter's wedding, Belly. So Conrad has shown the love that one needs to be in a marriage, the one needs to be in a relationship. Jeremiah, he seems like a good guy, but and this goes to all of the people in The Summer I Turned Pretty. Every single character, except for Conrad, honestly, do not know who they are. They don't know who they are. They don't know what their identity is. Belly seems to still be in search of that. Jeremiah seems to be in search of that. He's still in the phase where he thinks that he needs to prove to his dad that he's something or make his dad proud. But honestly, there's no phase of when that happens. Like, people will start doing that when they're 40. People start doing that when they're 20. People start doing that when they're 60. I doubt when they're 60, because at that point, like, you are who you are. In the sense that, people don't intentionally change for other people at that age, but you know what I mean? So Jeremiah's in this phase, and Conrad has already, like, left this phase, and that's why I said that Conrad has really been really good at finding himself, knowing what he wants. He's gone through, intense personal development. He's gone to therapy. The therapy is talking about his hero complex, the idea that he must save and help other people, that the idea that the world is on your shoulders. He knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses, and that's why in all sense of the word, Conrad is better for Belly. With that being said, though, I don't know if I'm Team Conrad at this time, only because I really wish Conrad shared his feelings earlier on in the season, so Belly can have time to really break down what those feelings mean and how that would, play out in her future. Because sharing your feelings the night before Belly's wedding is kind of like Jeremiah's move. Like, I didn't really see Conrad doing that. Now, obviously, Conrad is doing this after he found out that Jeremiah cheated on her twice with the same girl. And Conrad is so upset with that because Conrad really looks at Belly. And I'll touch upon this too. Conrad looks at Belly as this woman this unbelievable woman that should be treated like a queen, right? Well, I do feel, and the mask is kind of slipping, and you see it a little bit in episode 7, that Jeremiah really treats Belly like a prize, right? You can see that Belly and Conrad are starting to have conversations, and Jeremiah literally has no idea what these conversations are about. It could really be about literally nothing, but he finds these conversations really threatening, and then he sits down and basically warns Conrad, Jeremiah, you don't need to take care of her anymore. Like, she's mine now. Like, that's actually that's really gross to say, especially to her ex and also your brother. Like, it's really disgusting. So the mask that Jeremiah is wearing is slipping, because I just don't see. I do think Jeremiah does see Belly as a person, but I think he also sees her as a prize. Like, he won the girl that the Conrad that everybody wants to be with, the one that everybody admires, everyone praises. He gets the girl, Of course, we don't know. He doesn't know if Conrad is in love with her or not, but all Jeremiah knows is that he's having conversations with Belly. Again, it could be about nothing, but Jeremiah is so threatened by that. And Jeremiah is also using Belly to be the person that he thinks he needs to be for his dad, to get a job, settle down, have kids. That's, to him, that's what you're supposed to do, and he's trying to do that with Belly. He doesn't see why not having a wedding at the country club would not work. to him, it makes sense. It's an available space. It's a nice space. Why not have a wedding? And it's weird because Jeremiah seems, again, he puts his own feelings and emotions above Belly's. Instead of asking Belly, hey, what do you want? What do you need? He goes, this is what makes me happy. It's going to make me upset. It's going to make my dad. It's me, me, me. And so we're really not seeing them men together and really work together. It's really his way or the highway. It should be their way, right? And Conrad is really good at making sure. But that's the thing with Conrad too. Conrad, even though he knows what he wants, he knows his strengths and weaknesses, he's willing to have the wedding anywhere that Belly says the wedding should be, even if that's at, beaches, right? Even if it's at, Conrad's mom's beautiful house, right? With all the hydrangeas. He's willing to do whatever it takes to make Belly happy. He's willing to be engulfed in whatever love this is between him and Belly. And that's Conrad, right? Again, and that is like the huge difference between Conrad and Belly. And that's why when Belly was trying to really put one love above the other in season 7 at the end, when Belly and Conrad had that huge fight, Belly goes, you would never be Jer, Jer would never hurt me in the way you hurt, Jer would never hurt me in the way you've hurt me. I can never be best, like, you can never be best friends with me. Like, all of these things. And Belly is saying, and comparing the two, they're both different types of love. And I think I saw someone online really did a really good job of explaining this, which I agree. The love that Jeremiah is giving to Belly, again, it's not that agape love. It's not that selfless love that Conrad is giving. Which there are weaknesses to that, which I'll talk about. But it's very comfort. It's very comfortable. The relationship that Jeremiah and Belly have is comfortable. There's no passion, but there's comfort. While Conrad and Belly, there's so much passion and it's intense. And that's why, even though Conrad did not cheat on Belly, the fact that Conrad didn't open up to Belly when Conrad was grieving his mom, loss of his mom, that hurt her a lot because she really liked him. She really loved him. It's one of her great loves. Jeremiah is different because, yes, she's always known Jeremiah, but Jeremiah, again, is kind of like a best friend. And that's why it's weird to me, because that's how I see them, like best friends. That's why it's kind of weird to me watching, intimate scenes with them, because it's like, I don't see the passion. I see friends making out. Now, Conrad showing that agape love. Actually, before I get to there, when people were explaining Belly and Jeremiah's relationship, they brought out Laurel's relationship and Laurel and her ex-husband, which is Belly's dad. So Belly's relationship. And Laurel explained to Belly how their relationship was also comfortable. It was kind of like steady. It wasn't really passionate. But it's interesting because Laurel still loves her ex-husband, and they end up fooling around throughout the season. Some people say that, he should stand up to Laurel and say no because she doesn't really like him. She just wants to use him to be intimate. But I think I want to see how that gets played out. I really want to see where that goes, because maybe Laurel will see how amazing and dependable he is, and they will end up staying together, or Laurel will get it reminded on how boring the relationship is, and how she feels like she needs more, and how she doesn't like who she is in the relationship, which is not a bad person, but a person that could get and could be with somebody who's could get more out of a relationship. You know what I mean? Because again, the relationship is a bit comfortable. So with Conrad and the agape love that he's experiencing, it's great and all, and he truly loves her, but he has to understand that he can't put his entire life on hold to chase a woman. Like, I don't know if that's obvious or not. Like, I get it. You really love her. But you can't put all of your experiences and your opportunities on hold for Belly. You can do both. You can chase Belly while also chasing your opportunities. Also, guys, if my eyes got watery because of my cold, so I apologize. So that's what you can do. You know, that's the only thing that is a bit concerning. The fact that he's putting everything aside, but then again, she is getting married, so it is serious. Like, he should be there. But hopefully he doesn't put everything aside for her. Now, this entire fight will definitely either push Conrad deep into the blue sea, like push him all the way off, or push or make him want her and fight for her even more. I really do think he's upset, and I think like it's gonna be really predictable. I bet you he's going to go sleep with, he's gonna make out and sleep with Belly's friend, the black girl. Don't say I didn't say it. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. I'm really good with this. I'm really good with predicting plot lines. I bet he's gonna be mad. He's still in love with her, but he's upset, so he's gonna go make out and kiss with Belly's college friend. Now, there's so many. Yes, when Conrad is said to Belly, "I don't even know you. Like, you do not want to have your wedding at the country club." Like, it literally took me back to my college years of watching Gilmore Girls. Like, I don't think you guys understand. I am a huge Gilmore Girls fan. I have 7 CDs still in my room. Like, the 7 seasons still in my room. I would watch it on a loop all throughout college. I know everything, but it's been so long since I've watched it, so probably forgot a lot of things. But I remember when Rory bumped into Jesse, and then she ended up going to his book launch or book reading because he published a book. I think it's like a book of poems or something like that. And she was telling him everything, or he found out about her life. And he was just like so surprised because the Rory that he knew, the Rory that he grew up with in Stars Hollow, was very ambitious, is all about Yale and has always been about Yale since the age of 10, and wants to become this international journalist, and nothing would slow her down. So for Jess to like to stumble upon the fact that she's messing with the guy, Rory's messing with a guy that Rory would usually make fun of. She dropped out of Yale. She's part of the DAR. Like, Jess is like, who are you? Like, I don't even know you. You've changed. And it's weird because Jess is like doing like a mini intervention, and it's like a mirror. Jess ends up being a mirror looking back at Rory. Like, who are you? DAR, like Yale. Why did you drop out of Yale? And he says it not as a way to intervene, but as like Jess himself is shocked. And then, Rory is shocked that he's shocked. And then she's also realizing, yeah, like, why did I drop out of Yale? Like, you're right. I was really super passionate. Like, what happened? I think life happens, right? And we all know why Rory ended up being in that very moment, like all the events that led up to that. So it's so interesting to see the similarities. The similarities between the two couples, so the couple, Rory and Jess from Gilmore Girls, and then you have Conrad and Belly, is that Jess, let's start with the girls. Belly and Rory are independent, strong-willed, smart, stubborn girls. Like, they know what they want. And also I love the fact that we now know who Belly, like, we're starting to learn a little bit more about Belly, because all Belly does in The Summer I Turned Pretty is talk about these damn 2 men as if they're the only 2 men on the face of the planet. She wants to become a sports psychologist. That's amazing. Let's learn more about that. those are similarities, but the difference is that Rory actually liked the DIR stuff. She liked the DAR. She liked the country. She liked that life. It was a part of who she was. Even though Laurel tried to do her best to think otherwise, to have her think otherwise, Rory, not Laurel. Oh my God. Lorelai. Oh my God. Lorelai, Rory's mom, tried to, like, persuade her otherwise, but Rory actually liked it. It did end up being a phase, but she didn't hate it. Like, she didn't look down at the people who were rich. Her family, her grandparents are. They Rory had a different perspective of the rich people than Lorelai did. Lorelai despised rich people and how they treated people like Suki, for instance. But Rory saw them in a different way and kind of respected them. That's different from Belly in the sense that Belly did all of that stuff, the debutante for Conrad's mother who died, and Conrad and Jeremiah's mother. She's not a person who would get married at the country club, and that's why she had a mini panic attack at the bar's bathroom, the bathroom in the bar. And she's not a person who wanted a big wedding. So Belly really does know what she wants when it comes to that aspect. Even though she says that she doesn't really know, she does know. And for her saying that she doesn't want to know is kind of like a coping mechanism from making her realize that all of what is going to happen, everything that is happening is coming to fruition. You are marrying Jeremiah. So those are the similarities and differences between Belly and Rory Gilmore. The difference between Conrad and Jess. And I know a lot of people would love to say that Rory would end up with Jess. I don't think so. In fact, Conrad is Rory's dream man. Smart, ambitious, but also free spirited as well. Knows what he wants. Conrad is Luke. Hardworking man. Like, he builds. Like, Conrad is the type of person who would build a house for you if you want him to. If you allow him to, he will build a house for you. That's Conrad. Conrad is Luke. So with that being said, Jess is not that. Jess up and left Rory on the night before prom and without saying goodbye to Rory, chased after his dad, the relationship that he wants with his dad, and went to go find a life where he can find himself, right? So Jess found himself, and Jess is also an ambitious man, but I don't think he's at this point, even at this point when Jess goes to Rory, no, Yale, why did you drop out of Yale? He wasn't at the point to be the man that Rory needs. So even though he's trying to snap Rory out of it, they would never have worked. They would have never have dated because Jess is not that guy. Jess is not selfless. Jeff is not selfless. He's a good guy. And he would do good things for Rory, but he's not as selfless. He's so in his head and he's a bit selfish. It's quite selfish. More selfish, I would say, than Jeremiah. And Jess and Rory would never work because Jess is just so in his head. And again, like, he's trying to be this person. And I don't think he would want to change even for Rory. And I'm talking about the character. I know that Alexis Bledel and the guy who actually played Jess actually dated in real life. But the characters, right? And Jess is just not that type of guy. Like, he's not the guy who would settle down in a house, white picket fence with two dogs, 2 kids. That's Conrad. That's Luke, kind of. That's Rory, kind of. They want that. Lorelai kind of wants that. So Jess is not that. Jess is very artistic and he's really on his own personal journey, and the only woman that he's gonna end up marrying is a woman who's also the same, who, that prioritizes their career, not really their marriage. And I don't really think, honestly, Jess is a marriage type. Like, I don't think he wants to get married. Like, even if he's dating, even though he ends up dating Rory again, if Rory talks about marriage, he's gonna be like, I don't want to get married. Like, we could be together forever, but I don't want to get married. And that's coming from his own personal relationship with his father and their mom and their and how he was raised. Right? He didn't really have like romantic relationships to look up to. So that's my thing with like Jess and Rory and Conrad and Belly. Um, it's going really well. We have 5 more episodes left, I think. The last episode's going to end up being going into September. I'm really excited. At this point, the reason why I'm not saying Team Conrad, at this point, I think I want Belly to find herself. Like, she needs to stop thinking about this damn man and do things for herself. I love Belly as a person, but she can be quite reckless and quite naive. Um, Too naive and ignorant to what's going on. I need her to go find herself. She doesn't know who she is. Jeremiah too. Um, Conrad does know who he is, but he's chasing after a girl who's like in a love triangle. I don't know, man. I want better for Conrad. I also want better for Belly, and I think Jeremiah. I just don't know. I think once Belly finds herself, then she'll be ready to marry Conrad. But at this point, I mean, Belly can break off the wedding with Jeremiah, and then start dating Conrad. But how is that going to work? Like, practically, Jeremiah will feel betrayed. He'll feel hurt. Like, how are you gonna date Conrad right after that? Like, you're dating men that's from the same family. Like, it's gonna be hard to navigate. And I think there's gonna be time where Belly's gonna have time to figure out herself before she like, okay, Belly, Conrad, it's finally you. It's always been you. You know, I haven't read the book, so I wouldn't know. And don't spoil it for me in the comments. Okay, I will delete you and block you. So yes, those are my thoughts. It's been really good episodes. I would say like Conrad is looking really good this season. Looking really good. Belly is actually so beautiful, a gorgeous girl. She's growing up like she's beautiful and gorgeous. I just saw Lola Tong, who's playing Belly in like a music video. Like, she's gorgeous, gorgeous girl. So that's my recap over like everything so far. What's been going on with me? How are you guys? I'm doing good. I'm living life. I currently have a cold. I've been to the Beyonce concert, the Chris Brown concert. It was so good. I was the people who was there on the 19th in the rain. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life, and I'm so happy I went. I'm focusing on personal development, and also like I'm going through like a mental awakening and thinking about like what I've always wanted to do versus where I am and like how did I get here type of thing. And I don't know if I have any regrets per se, maybe one, but I've always thought in my life that I should never move through life with regrets. So to be with like the age of 32, like having regrets is like really disappointing, but I'm really bad at giving myself grace. So I need to give myself grace. I'm really hard on myself. And it's weird because I thought I would be living a different life. This life is good, but I know I can live a great life. That matches on my needs and wants. So that's like what I'm navigating personally, mentally, emotionally. And I'll be traveling again this weekend. So I'm really excited for that. I'm seeing some family I haven't seen in a long time. But yeah, that's been going on with me. There might be a vlog coming up. There will be a vlog, kind of like a huge summer vlog, summer 2025, all things I've done, the entire shebang. Probably like a half an hour vlog, so it'll be fun. Stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching and listening. Let me know your thoughts on The Summer I Turned Pretty. Honestly, one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite summer shows, one of my favorite shows in general. Honestly, it's very well written, well acted. I do want to say that scene where Conrad and Belly at the end of episode 7, where they're like fighting and Conrad finally shares his feelings, that was a great performance on Conrad's part. Like, but when Belly like broke down and then fell to her knees on the sand when Conrad walked away, that was an incredible performance. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours, and don't forget to follow. Ciao, Bella.